But how are you doing today?
All
How
right,
how
man.
is 2023 finding you nowadays?
It's good. A little wet, but it's good.
Wonderful. Um, you did the song Ash and Dust for the documentary Ash and Dust. I want to ask, what does the film mean to you
Yeah,
as my
sure,
first
sure.
question?
It's well, the film's called The Voice of Dust and Ash. The song's called Dust and
Dust
Ash.
and Ash.
Uh, um, and your question is, what does the film mean?
Yeah, what does the film mean to you specifically?
Yeah, I think this is an incredible film about the power of words and the power, this incredible artist, Maestro Mohammad Reza Shajarian, risked his life to confront the regime in Iran to stand for the people and to create equality and fairness among all the people of Iran. In Iran, uh, it's still illegal for women to perform solo on records or in public. So it's very different culture than here, to say the least. And he was probably the most famous singer in the history of the country, especially because his uh, his voice is used as the Rabbana prayer to break the fast of Ramadan. So people in the country, uh, think of him as a transcendent voice that film is really the power of um, you know fighting for what you believe in humanity, I suppose.
Hmm. No, for sure. You mentioned Maestro Sharjarin and just the profound impact he had on other people. Did you know of him before working on the documentary? What was the impact his music had on you?
Yeah, for sure. I did not. I was not aware of his music before this film. Fuchsia Sumner, who's Sting's daughter, Sting and I had just finished the other film, the James Foley doc. We had done a song together, and she's one of the producers on the film. She had turned me on to it, and I was instantly blown away by blown away by his humility, his talent, the transcendent vocals that are just beyond. It's this kind of ancient voice that speaks to you and can transport you. And I guess I just felt that the majesty in his recordings and in his life, juxtaposed with his humility and his humanitarian spirit, was just so inspiring to me.
No, for sure. How do you feel having your own music with Ash and Dust in a film that has his music together? How does that impact you?
I think that you know uh, Mandana and I really explored where to put the film. We always wanted a song in the film to help raise awareness for his incredible life story and his humanitarian efforts, and uh, we wanted to put something from the West because in his world, he's you'd be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't celebrate him and is not inspired by him. So we wanted somebody that could help bridge that grandeur and majesty here in the U.S. And that's when I reached out to Nora Jones to see if she'd be interested, because you have to honor him with another world class voice such as hers. And throughout the process, at one point it was going to be the beginning opening titles, then it was the end titles, then we were looking at different spots in the film, and ultimately ultimately we decided that we were going to create this kind of coda to the film with the lyrics presented on screen. And Mandana created this animation where the lyrics were actually kind of vibrating and bubbling. And it's almost as if the words are alive, and that words have power and electricity to make a global change. And there's this whole meditative coda at the end of the film. It's basically like almost the climax of the film, where the song plays in full with the lyrics on screen, um, as a testament to his bravery and to stand in solidarity with the Iranian people and their bravery. And it comes after an a cappella performance of Ostad Shajarian singing his uh, most famous song, Morge Sahar. It's this basically considered the unofficial national anthem of peace in Iran. So it was incredibly humbling and a massive honor to be able to do this, especially considering that this song, the finale of the song, uh, there's a strident, bold solo from his daughter that almost channels his voice into this song and into the film, because we lost Maestro about 2 years ago to cancer. And having the family's support, and creating this bridge between his most famous song to this song is a great honor. And I really hope it can help continue his message.
There's this quote in the documentary that I really loved, where I was talking about the that music and poetry are brought together in Persian um, classical music, and where it's the music and the poetry animate one another to create the appropriate musical setting. What was that like when you are creating a song that you know is going to have an animated component in the film? How did that all come together?
Well, yeah, exactly. So the that evolved. As I said, originally the song was going to be over the opening titles, then it was going to be the end titles, then we were looking at other spots, and then we wanted this whole almost meditative experience where Mandana created these animations with this beautiful artist, to show the beauty of Iran, to show the culture of Iran. I feel like it's misrepresented a lot. There was, as Maestro says in the film, it's a steeped, culture with a great history, um, of beauty and love and togetherness, and also acceptance. And the Shiraz Arts Festival that they did before '79 was this kind of very bold, interesting festival that invited people from the West. Arthur Rubinstein played there. So it's continuing his message of freedom and fairness. And we wanted to create something that was in the tradition of kind of like a blues kind of folk ballad, in the history of protest songs, considering that we wrote this before the uprising. But it's something that continues to happen in this country, where the people are, protesting for their freedom and their rights. So it was something that we looked at as almost like a kind of a folk protest ballad, blues ballad, because that where it's just where the music is just a subtle harmonic bed to allow the words to come through clearly, and most importantly, I suppose.
For sure. Um, it, Another question, you might not have used this at all, but the documentary mentions that Maestro Shahjaran created his own stringed instruments. Did you ever consider using those in the
Yeah,
song itself? Like what?
absolutely. I really wanted to get one of those. I originally, excuse me, originally I wanted to do something with Maestro, and we were trying to work that out and get the schedules and all that stuff, and we lost him tragically. Um, and that was the next thing. Mandana had suggested that we use his daughter, who's a brilliant singer in her own right, and we were trying to get the instruments, but they're in collections and different things, and I believe in Iran, so it's tricky to get them. But we that was one of my first dreams of working on this. You do bring up a great point. He this is a monumental artist and humanitarian, not just in his singing. To remind you, he can sing well above high C, whereas is where Pavarotti lived for his most powerful notes. And he was a master calligrapher, Ostad Shajarian. He was this instrument builder, very, very interesting guy.
For sure. You talk about high C, and this is a question that kind of came to me when I was listening to the song, just how you use almost this low spoken voice in your male lyrics while letting Nora Jones be able to just take over the just the vocalist, like having the dominant power, which
Mhm.
is the opposite of what happens typically in Iran due to the
Yeah, yeah.
censorship there.
Uh-huh.
Talk me through just what was your thought process to coming to that term of balance and what it
Yep.
means that you have this spoken rhythm below.
I think it's very astute of you to pick up on that, and reference that. Yeah, there when as I said, it's illegal in Iran for a woman to perform solo on a record or in public. Also, as you said, the government there wants the woman to be inferior to the man in the song. So we tried to create this prominence with Nora, giving her the dominant position there, and then almost having my voice as this ancient kind of like broken down thing. My voice was not intentionally supposed to be there. I sang that as a guide vocal for the director Mandana to be able to kind of see what the ideas I was coming up with and what it was going to sound like. And then when I called Nora to see, I went over to her studio and we were messing around with a few different things, and we started recording. And she said, "This is kind of an odd key for me. It's a little too low for me to kind of sing in my low voice, and it's a little too high for me to sing comfortably in that register. Otherwise, I'll be an octave above and be kind of shouting the whole thing. So I'm not really going to be able to do the same thing that you're doing, which is this kind of like, kind of cinematic, ancient voice, maybe, so we should probably just do it as a duet." And I was like, "What? Like, I'm not going to be singing this with you and Ostad's daughter and Ostad in the film. Come on." And ultimately ended up sounding really cool, just with the two voices as this kind of, you know, duality super voice of male female energy with the female leading, and then ultimately transitioning into Mojgan Shajarian to kind of make this bold, strident proclamation of hope and resolution to fight for the rights of all the people that are being marginalized there.
That's so awesome. Like, just I love the creative process. I love how you dived into it. There's this early idea brought in the film that a lot of Shajaran's own work is based on old poetry. How did you come up with the lyrics for Dust and Ash? Did you end up referring to old poetry? Did you just
So
write it typically as a Western? Like,
yeah, I think it's just kind of I was meditating on concepts, and just trying to envision, you know, uh, you know, someone who's has this, strong conviction to leave everything behind, uh, if if the truth and the fight can't be won. You'd be willing to risk everything uh, to to make that come to fruition. But no, just kind of meditating on it. It took us almost a year to kind of unlock the chorus of this song, because we were messing around with a lot of different ideas, and ultimately, Mandana came up with the name "The Voice of Dust and Ash," from it's a quote from the 2009 election, when a lot of the people felt that the ballots were stuffed in the boxes and the election was rigged, and there was all these protests in the streets. And the president who won said that people have spoken, and anybody protesting is merely dust and ash in the street. Uh, at which point the BBC reached out to Shajarian for a quote and said, "How do you feel about this?" And Shajarian responded, "If they're the dust and ash, then I'm the voice of dust and ash." And so I kind of revisited that and said, "Hey, what if we take the kind of put down, if you will, and turn it into an empowering, you know, just kind of call to action, and kind of, battle cry, if you will. I am the dust, I am the ash." And that, like, that we make up everything, in this kind of concept. And especially given the fact that Ostad Shajarian said this, it just kind of clicked one day when we were looking at stuff, and then we tried it, and it was uh, really seemed to work really well.
Of course. And yeah, it's a very powerful ballad that can become this anthem that just rises in you. That you meditate on and calls you to action. You're no longer driving with the headlights off.
Yeah,
You've
yeah.
turned them on.
No, no,
Um,
totally. That's, I mean, yeah, it was a powerful concept, almost, that it was hiding in plain sight. In the same way, metaphorically, like he says, driving with the headlights off. There was the title of the film the whole time since I've been working on it. There was this statement that he said, and still trying to figure out what is the empowering thing that we can say that unites the entire community, and it's like, in a way, it's still peaceful and not violent anthem. It's saying, like, I am the dust, I am the ash, I'm everything, and we will, continue to fight, almost, until we become dust and ash yet
mhm,
again. So it was this whole kind of circuitous, um, you know, uh, uh, path that the song took to create that kind of hymn of protest and positivity and solidarity, and strength, as you see in Mojgan's performance at the end, which is obviously not allowed in the country.
mhm. I've got one more, I guess, question for you today, which is like, when did you get involved with this project? You've started mentioning times and dates, and I'm like, have you been working on this for like
Yeah.
how many years now has this been in development? Because
Yeah.
it,
I think they reached out to me in, like, 2017 or 2018, and the track that is, that we started, is the last thing that I recorded before my house burnt down in Malibu from the Woolsey fire. And so, there was, like, this whole crazy metaphor for that too, as my entire, studio and archive and house was reduced literally to dust and ash as I was, working on this film. Um, it's uncanny how it all came to be. But I think around, 17 or 18, I started working on the ideas and coming up with things and talking to Mandana, and then, a few years later, she finished the film, and then we finished the score, and then the song with Nora, and it was all done before the current uprising. Everything was finished before that. So, the timing is it's almost as if he's orchestrating all of this Ostad from the great beyond. It's pretty cool.
Hmm. You mentioned your house burning down and all of these events happening, and how that kind of opens your eyes a little bit to how both big and small our own existences are. We think
Absolutely.
we have stuff until we don't. Um, what do you want people to get away from, or to take away from this film, to take away from this song? What do you hope the impact it has on people?
That there was when I did the movie The Cove, there was a quote: "You're either an activist or an inactivist." You know what I mean? And if you're, all of these kind of sayings, if you you know if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem, kind of a situation. Shajarian traded his incredible life, prominence, all of these incredible luxuries to stand up for the people of his country, and would not accept the government's control of its people. I would hope that people are able to see the film and see the majesty of this great artist, the bravery of this great artist to stand up and be willing to risk everything that you have to make sure that the world is a better, safer, more fair place, and that ultimately the things that you say have power to make great change. When I did the song with Sia for Racing Extinction, that's based on a quote from the film called "It's better to light one candle than curse the darkness, because with one candle you can find other people with candles," and so on and so forth. So a similar kind of uh, theme here of the power of one person's belief to make great change, and you see it now. I mean, they sing his songs, Morgue Sahar, in the streets, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people. So. Never to underestimate the power of one idea or one person starting the snowball rolling.
For sure. Thank you so much for your time today. This is all I had prepared, and
All right.
it's phenomenal. Really awesome piece of music in an amazing film that opened my eyes to Maestro Chandra, and someone who I feel like I deeply respect and know despite not knowing him 12 hours ago.
Well,
Um, and just, yeah, thank you so much for your time. And
thank you. I really appreciate it, and thanks for all the great questions.
of course, have a good day.
All right, cheers. Bye.